Good afternoon and welcome to the Day After Podcast. My name is John. I'm here with Michael.
Hi, everybody.
And we would both like to introduce you to a new sub-series we're doing entitled Lynchpin, where we are watching and reviewing all 9 non-Twin Peaks related David Lynch films in chronological order.
Lynchpin? I love it.
Okay.
You didn't tell me what we were going to call the series. Good job.
On today's episode, we're going to watch and review 1977's body horror classic Eraserhead, directed by David Lynch. Before we get into Eraserhead, are there any, we'll call them grievances right now, that you want to get out about Mr. Lynch?
I can't eat meat within the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I went to go...
Particularly tiny chickens.
Particularly jambalaya. Not a good choice. Eraserhead is a body horror classic, one of the older ones if you're an old fart like me. Released in 1977 and quoted as one of the most popular student art films ever made. A very young 31-year-old David Lynch decided he would like to make a movie.
I won't make a movie.
We're not doing as much research on this. This is a blind watch, and we highly... Okay, not highly.
I had no idea what I was getting into.
We recommend it. We don't highly recommend it, but this is not a movie you recommend to others.
I'm not saying to watch this. I'm saying to feel it.
I'm saying don't
Kind of like rub it on yourself.
I'm saying when you're going to get it at the video store, don't pick up chicken nuggets to go. The general plot, I guess, is that Henry and his girlfriend have accidentally conceived. They don't even call it a child because they say, is it a baby? We still don't know that it's a baby for sure. They've given birth to a thing.
Premature something or other.
Yeah, and it's about them trying to get...
Problems of parenting.
Parenting, I guess.
Infidelity.
He did want to make a movie about infidelity and insects, and I think he found a nice halfway there.
Yeah, there is a realistic melodrama in there.
And
then there's all the rest of the stuff.
Okay, I want to really apologize to the word fever dream. Every time I've ever said that, it's kind of been a joke, like, oh, this is very nonsensical. This is absolutely when you're running a temperature of 104 and you fall asleep. This is what's in your brain.
Yeah, and I think Lynch is one of the rare American artist that you can authentically use the word surreal in the original sense of.
Super real.
Like not just, oh, it's weird and what does it mean, but because one of the things about surrealism is it's never about, ooh, what does it mean? It's not really interested in symbolism. And I remember you were saying something when we were watching this, that when Lynch is asked about...
When he's asked anything about to interpret any of his films, he shuts down that line of inquisition pretty much immediately.
Yeah. And I kind of... This does... It has a ring of... I've seen several of original 1920s or 1930s surrealist classics, like...
Un Chien Andalou?
Yeah, so like
the eye-cutting movie,
Buñuel's stuff, and some of Jean Cocteau's stuff, and a later filmmaker who I now realize is influenced a lot by Lynch. If you ever see a guy called, his name is Guy Madden. I think he's like a Canadian or something. I now realize, oh, that's where you get this weird feeling from. Oh man, this is I don't want to give a critical exegesis of what this means, because I feel like this is just more about like a visceral watch. I get now like why this is a body horror, but not because it's a horror film, but it's like a body dream.
This is I'm at the age now where I've seen enough movies that attempt to ape the black and white style just because. And you can tell, based on the grading of different things, that a movie was or wasn't intended to be shot in black and white. This, I said, I want a sharp... And I swear to God, this was not a spoiler when I said this. I'm like, I want to sharpen a pencil on this entire set. Everything looks like it's made of concrete as the sun is going down.
Oh yeah,
and there's dirt everywhere.
Very industrial.
Yeah.
Yeah, rust and.
You said that was weird. That there was like the 20s, like 20s surrealism, but in an urban setting.
Like a American post-industrial kind of. This is not set in a cafe. This is set in, I don't know. It looks like it could be Detroit or something.
It probably is Detroit. This poor man, Nance. He's in some other things. I recognize the name. He goes home to meet his girlfriend's family, and these it's the most normal, the least unnormal part of this movie is these family members who are just a little off, like a catatonic grandma who doesn't move, and this man who is a plumber by trade, just the right amount of friendly, just like talking to a wall, which. And it's almost like a Napoleonic dynamic scene where I don't even know. This is gonna be the clumsiest fuck. I hope you guys enjoyed Too Many Kubricks because we're back.
But it would be like Napoleon Dynamite going, I had surgery on my face and now I can't feel anything, but I'm afraid to stab my face.
I almost spit take. That was fucking hysterical. And what triggers me a lot is that oftentimes when there's something horrific on screen, normally you would want to get what is called in normal filmmaking language an establishing shot, where you get a close-up on something. But the first time you see this baby they're getting taken care of, it's taking up almost none of the frame, like medium to far away, getting nursed by the whoever splatted out.
Oh yeah. We don't really get a good view of the thing until much later. And also, the way he films the girlfriend, like he waits for her to get in some of the most awkward positions in mundane tasks, and then finds this most strained position. Like, just her reaching under the bed to get her suitcase, and it looks like she's straining in a prison cell.
Honestly, that goes on for 30, 40 seconds, and it felt like David Lynch having a sense of humor, because it felt like a joke, because for a long time she's yanking on the bed, and you're like, what the fuck are you looking for? And then she pulls out the suitcase she was trying to dislodge. I'm like, oh, that's the joke.
Or just like moving around in blankets, and just like she's a mummy that wants to elbow you.
Yeah, you use the phrase kickboxing mummy. What a fucking wild... And
there's so many shots where you don't know, for the first like 10 seconds, you don't know what you're looking at. All you keep doing is going, Yeah,
there are multiple scenes where I'm attempting to say words and nothing is coming out.
That's a thing.
Here's a comparison. Too Many Kubricks was like us going, hey, welcome to Chicago. Let me show you all my favorite places to eat. This is we got lost
right away
in New York and are now going to stumble around for 9 weeks. I'm at a loss. Honestly, I really nurtured and cherished when I thought that this was a movie about the anxieties of parenting, because that's when I found that it was the most penetrable. The least impenetrable, where I actually knew where I think might be going on. And then it moves into this 30s dance number with the crater lady. Here's what's the word. I need to get to Dune. I need to get to Mulholland Drive because people know what that is.
I think. I'm curious as to how do we put this? How
do you put this?
Oh my god. As he goes along, how full frontal surreal does Lynch continue to be? I've seen only 2 more of his movies. Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet.
Okay.
Which are kind of like Blue Velvet's in the smack middle, and Mulholland Drive's towards the end.
It's like 8 out of 9, yeah.
From what I've seen, it's this weird tension between realism and something else. And it looks like he starts off with the
balls out in space. Pretty much.
Yeah, like around a floating testicle.
That's fine. That's what his child will become. This movie technically contains child murder.
You're right. Spoilers. Well, we never gave a shit about that.
Yeah. If you guys, when I looked up people trying to rank these movies before I learned anything about them, no matter what you put at the bottom, people's complaint was it's the least surreal. You're gonna tell it like when Kubrick's least popular films are his least Kubrickian. Like no, when you want Lynch, you know what you come for. We give it to you. Oh my god, what the fuck? We're starting to learn things about David Lynch that are going to become apparent. Number one, he began as a painter, and part of the reason he joined into cinema was because he wanted to see paintings move. And so he's like, I guess I'm a filmmaker now. Number two, he likes in his movies people with severe facial deformities. See Crater Lady. See the man on the planet who's like pulling levers at the beginning. What the fuck?
That?
I decided I'm not going to drink today, and it's probably because of this fucking movie. Let me just we spun wheels faster than I thought. Would you recommend this? I wouldn't recommend chicken nuggets.
I would say you should be curious as to how you would feel about it.
It's better than Fear and Desire.
Fuck yeah! As a first movie,
yep. This is early. I see. People say early installment weirdness. Not only does that take on a new phrase, now I don't even know if this is early installment weirdness or if this is par for the course for David.
And I think that I would suggest watching this movie, if only for the fact that you don't know if you might like it. There are some people who don't know that they like this aesthetic and it's waiting for them, and because it's weird, they never encounter it.
You're one of the next several dozen. Yeah. Here I thought that it was one of those old horror movies that's just like unknown because it's old. It's unknown because it's fucking impenetrable. Not impenetrable. It's not like, it's not 2001.
There are some people like, hey, they don't know they like this kind of stuff, and they're watching Adult Swim one night and they go,
this felt like Adult Swim. Especially with that woman dancing and stepping on the sperm. I felt like I was watching an episode of Off the Air.
Yes.
It's astonishing.
I have to admit, like as I'm watching this, there are moments where the Eraserhead guy, at certain angles, I'm expecting him to go shake and bake.
Why?
Because he looks like the
John C. Reilly.
Right, he looks a little bit like Riley from certain angles.
If you guys clicked on this because you're like, I never did figure out why it was called Eraserhead. I fucking swear to God, that feels like a Family Guy joke. During one of his particularly vivid surrealist trips, he steps behind a podium and his head pops off, and a small child picks it up, runs away with it, shows up at another industrial factory who says, yes, this is acceptable, places it in a machine, and proceeds to make literal Eraserhead tops for pencils out of his head.
Talk about, like, this is not about symbolism. No, that's literal as fuck. His head is used to make erasers.
We are not the authorities on David Lynch. This is, if anything, if this series should be marketed as anything, it's like two blind men watch every David Lynch film. Guys, that has been our review of 1977's Eraserhead, directed by David Lynch.
We're in for a journey, buddy.
I hate everything about you right now. It's 9:30. I can't eat anything anymore. Please join us in 1 week where we're discussing 1980's Elephant Man.
Oh, no.
You did this to me.
I'm sure we'll be able to eat during Elephant Man.